Hello, everyone, and welcome back to This Week in Guns. It's brought to you by Patriot Patch Company, VZ Grips, and Primary Arms. The show offers you commentary on the latest firearms industry news, information, and buzz. I'm your host, Matthew Rosier, and I'm here with my substandard co-host, Othais, which you might remember from Forgotten Weapons. Othais, thank you for joining.
Thanks.
You're the mustache guy, right?
Yeah, I just work for Ian. He'd love that too. God, he'd love it if I worked for him.
If he actually,
yeah, his show would be good.
If he had some research material,
but then he'd lose viewers. That's the problem.
No, he would because they would be long.
Yeah, no, it's not even if they're long. It's just what accurate information never travels as well. So that's just.
I can't relate at all.
That's a career, right?
Yeah, So here's what you do. You'll take the, what's a gun you recently did? Like, you recently did a repro on the Walker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he does this one of his shows that I love so much are called Repercussion, where instead of trying to track down a 800,000 Wulong.
Did I ever tell you I held a Walker, like an original Walker?
And a Walker being what was like the most powerful black powder revolver.
Right, the 1847 44 caliber, 60 grains of black powder monster.
Yeah. So you did hold one?
So no, well, there was one at Rock Island, an exceptional one, and
really?
I happened to be at Rock Island at the time, and I just did a gag because while I was there, Joel, who has a really fancy title but basically does everything over there, he's a really sweet man, and we were just sort of hanging out. And he's like, I'm used to hosting Ian. Is there anything that you want to film? We can accommodate. And I went, I'd have to do too much research. My show is very slow paced. It takes me a lot of time to get to know something, and it's very easy to misspeak, but I was like, we can do some gag videos though. So I started grabbing like the worst garbage I could find and doing quick videos about it with really cool stuff in the background. So it'd be this amazingly rare whatever $1 million thing in the background, and I'd just be like, check out this Lorson, so I did.
I'm 100% about that though.
Right. So, but one of the things I did do though is that I was like, okay, in all seriousness, I'm handling what is very exotic, like original Walker. This one was definitely issued in blah, 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 right? And as I'm talking, I'm opening an Uberti because they had an Uberti reproduction Walker in the original box. So I was just like, yeah, it really looks almost like my own personal Uberti that's right here. And then I'm just like switching them and putting the then several $100,000 gun into the Uberti box,
right, and
then taking it off camera, and that was the big joke, right?
Yeah.
And then like 2 or 3 days later, it sold for like $2 million, and it was like a gag prop for me. Like a $2 million gag prop.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Well, so what I was saying is he does these things Repercussion where instead of finding the $2 million gag prop, he'll buy, these are fairly faithful reproductions of these old revolvers and do a video on them. And he does a great job. He does
a video
on
an interpretation of the original, right?
Where exactly.
Like, I want to tell the actual history is best. And by the way, I want to point out,
you want to tell the story behind the gun, but you don't need the $2 million gun.
Colt history is terrible,
right?
Is so
because boomers keep it close to the chest.
It's not even that. It's like there's been too much fraud, and then there's been a lot of stuff repeated without any source. And so you try to go back and be like, okay, but where did you find this as a primary source? And you can never find it. It's all myths and spells and witchcraft. Like it's so bizarre. Like it's unacceptable for you to tell a story of like the M16 the way we tell stories about the old Colts.
Right.
And so I try to dig in and I'm like, there's no walls, there's no floor. I'm just like,
it's like for 3 years they used this hammer. This figure came to me in a dream.
The guy that has the best narrative on the whole thing does things where he describes in intimate detail settings of rooms. He's like, he was smoking this brand of cigar and drinking this whiskey. And I'm like, nobody knows that. You don't know that. So what else are you just making up? Like, I can't tell where the fiction and reality actually begin and end. It's nutty.
Well, so, I don't remember why I brought up the Repercussion, but yeah, but
everybody's bored.
It was to compare you to Ian somehow.
Yeah.
But
we were making fun of Ian for a minute.
We were making fun of Ian softly, but we both love Ian. He's a really nice guy. He's cool to us.
I've been texting him today. He doesn't respond, but I've been texting him today.
Oh, he responds to me.
I know.
Maybe it's because I use complete sentences.
No, it's because you agitate. Well, to be fair, I've been sending him things he doesn't want to read, so that's he just ignores me when I meme at him.
Well, anyway.
I sent him the Ian copy pasta.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was asking him to please actually voice his part of it, and he did not respond.
The one where it's like, is it the one where it's like this guy keep?
There's a copy pasta story out there in which somebody like runs into Ian at the store, and it's just like, oh, I don't mean to interrupt you, like you're doing now, huh? Like,
yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And then he like tries to steal something at the checkout and winks at the.
Somebody in our Discord did a like animated version of it on their YouTube page, with like pictures of Ian, And so I sent that to Ian and went, you should just go ahead and voice this character because it would be insanely popular.
It would be really funny.
If Forgotten Weapons released the Ian copy pasta as a video, it will get 1 million views. Like it's free money, Ian.
Really good.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's one more aside before we get into the business. I am thinking about doing, because on my channel Fudbusters, it's all, like you were saying, well-researched information, which does not sell.
Right.
So I think I'm going to get into doing, and what I have learned is I've occasionally posted shooting videos where I'm actually shooting like either a gun I help design or whatever, and those do amazingly well. I want to start getting into doing gun reviews. But
may I make a suggestion? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, the shtick is going to be everything is going to be entirely wrong, like fully intentionally. Like I'm thinking, like taking a K-31 and having a target cam, right, and deliberately missing the target and just keep going. Yeah, these are known for that. They're like
do it as shorts in a vertical format, right? So that you can release it there and on like TikTok or something, right? And then at the bottom, at the last like 5 seconds, just put a tagline: "This is what you sound like when you talk about gun law." And that should be the tagline. It's like, this is how you sound when you talk about gun law.
That would actually be good,
right?
Think of that.
Bunch of boomer made up crap. Like
these are known for that. This is the Machine Nagant. They're the most accurate service rifle.
They were designed by a Belgian guy, but the Russians ripped it off. Watch the seed.
This is the AR-18. It was better than the AR-15 in every possible way, and it was only stopped because of European export laws. Anyway, next up, we've got, this, you guys have been seeing this, right? This,
we don't know what it is.
Because I haven't put anything up.
Okay.
You boob.
Do you want me, actually, Doc and David now send me YouTube links on my text.
Yeah, because everyone knows who Doc and David is, you asshole.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter because they both send me like the boomer Facebook links, but they send it to my phone now because apparently I was ignoring them on Facebook. So I feel like we could just do the show based on that. Like I could just pull out every insane gun thing that they've sent me over the past 2 weeks.
No, I've got those too. Doc texts me those links, and I'm like, I don't want to open a browser on my phone.
Mine keeps saying that I should enable the YouTube app that I've never downloaded. So I can't go to my text message inbox now without being spammed for a YouTube app.
Right. Well, I'm sure you guys have heard about HR 1808, and this is, finally, everybody always says, government, do something, right? You got to do something. They're not doing anything. And so now they're finally going to do something.
About?
Well, they got to ban assault weapons.
For why? Like, what's their excuse?
Didn't you see the shirt?
Oh, no. Is their shirt?
Yeah, something about ban assault weapons now, safe for schools.
What? Oh, okay. We should ban crazy people.
Hey, listen, you don't have any assault weapons in your background. What do you care? What do you care? You don't have any. Why do you want to stop this?
I feel like there's countries that petition to have some of these declared war crimes.
really, really sore losery countries. But so there's a new assault weapons ban. It's
right.
And there was a 14-hour hearing in Senate Judiciary Committee where, honestly, the only senator that I really like,
Wait, what?
Massey.
He's
Yeah.
the good one.
He's the good one.
Yeah, he's the
And let me tell you guys a little story. I
Okay.
worked in DC for a long time. Every politic lizard that I met in real life was a terrible wax figure thing. I was like totally half cocked at this Christmas party, and a guy came up to me, and I was wearing a Chevy shirt. He's like, "You into small blocks?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And we talked for 30 minutes about Chevy small blocks.
Did we just become best friends?
Well, no, and it was awesome. And then Rand Paul, who's standing in the doorway, like all with his arms all crossed, goes, "Massey, get over here." And my Chevy buddy goes, "Oh, hold on, Matt, 1 second. I'll be right back." And I go, "Wait, holy shit, was that Thomas Massey?"
Yeah, he's like the pride of.
He goes over to Rand Paul, like gives Rand Paul like 20 seconds of his attention, and then comes right back to me.
Well, yeah, Rand Paul's not talking about small blocks.
No, he's not interesting at all. But I was like, "You're the realest dude I've ever met in this town." Like you have interests and you want to talk about them.
No, all you need to know about Massey, for anybody that's curious if they want to look into what he's been talking about, Iraq veteran 88 had him on. He voluntarily sat down with Eric.
Yeah, they put a suit on Eric and everything.
From Eric. Eric's a friend of mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, Eric, I love Eric too.
But the number of conversations I've had with Eric that I don't want recorded, you know what I mean?
Like, well, they did put a suit on Eric, so I think he wasn't going to.
Still, come on, like that's a man of the people. If you're hanging out, you know
he's the salt of the earth dude.
Yeah,
but so he really like was putting the fight on, and there's a lot of really funny quotes that came out of this. So he actually proposes amending, because of course all of the government agencies would be exempt from this new federal.
Let's go a little bit more macro for a second, because you named the bill, but the goal is ultimately to reintroduce the old assault weapons ban with some different caveats, or what's going on?
Make it more like California.
Okay, so they're doing this thing of like, is it a point system? What's going on? Or do we not know? Since it's just that inane that we don't care anymore.
Yeah, it is. It's basically like single feature. It'll make it a crime to import, sell, manufacture, transfer, or possess a semi-automatic assault weapon, SAW. So they're all SAWs.
Okay, whoa. Where are we defining assault weapon then?
Well, so the exclusions.
This is a mess. This is already a mess. Like, we're trying to read it. It's already like, well, hold on. What the hell is an assault weapon?
Right.
So they're going to say like a semi-automatic with a 30-round magazine or some crap.
Right. So, well, the exceptions are manually operated, of course, permanently inoperable, antique, or there's a specific list of exemptions by make and model.
This sounds like Canada in a way, but inverted, because they have that list of stuff that's banned for reasons.
So let's pull up the actual bill here.
To be fair, the bill
makes it a crime to knowingly import SAW. The bill also exempts with respect to law enforcement.
Oh yeah, of course, those guys.
No, you can't listen.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is of course put under 921A because everything needs to be shoved in there.
Right.
The term semi-automatic pistol means any pistol which utilizes a portion of the energy. Semi-automatic shotgun.
We're including pistols as assault weapons now?
Well, so no, I think they're defining them.
They're trying to do the
because there's a sub part that includes pistol. So now
this is a separate conversation that we've had.
Paragraph
before.
36, the term semi-automatic assault weapon means any of the following, regardless of country or manufacturer or caliber of ammunition accepted. A semi-automatic rifle that, 1, has a magazine that is not a fixed magazine, and 2, has any one. So it's a single feature test, like I was saying before. Pistol grip, forward grip, folding, telescoping, or detachable stock, or is otherwise folding or adjustable in a manner that operates to reduce the length, size, or any other dimension, or otherwise enhance the concealability of the weapon.
That's not
grenade launcher. Because
I love that folding stocks exist to make it more concealable, not to make it easier to carry around and not whack it against every goddamn thing.
Folding stocks exist because vehicles have doors.
Yeah, no joke.
Like, if the weapon has a grenade launcher, because you know that we have all seen the rash in rifle grenade crime.
Yeah,
yeah, because we've all, you know, every time you stop at
is,
the local restaurant, you get a rifle grenade.
What is that, by the way? Have you ever figured out why they obsess over the grenade launcher thing?
I think because it's called grenade launcher.
Yeah, but the problem is that's already a controlled device. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well, and
the grenade.
When have you ever been able to get a rifle grenade? Like, you know, since rifle grenades weren't common on weapons that we like owned here.
Yeah, it's
before the NFA happened.
The grenade part's just where it's the Hollywood aspect where you're just like, where did you guys get this data from? You know?
Right. Well, barrel shroud. Can't have a barrel shroud.
What the hell does that mean?
That's the shoulder thing that goes up. No, just kidding. The barrel shroud. So Gewehr 88
shroud. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what do they consider a barrel shroud?
I think. Well, so the way that it was defined in the previous assault weapon ban was anything that would prevent the operator's hand from getting burned.
Hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm just sitting there going, what does that mean?
Threaded barrel.
Oh, threaded muzzle.
Right. Well, no. Barrel shroud is separate. 6 is threaded barrel. That's another feature. So you can't have a threaded barrel, period, on a semi-automatic.
How do you attach it to the receiver then?
Yeah, you didn't say which end.
They didn't say muzzle. They just said threaded barrel.
It says threaded barrel. That's really funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be press and pin only, boys.
Right. Jesus. I hope you have a trunnion friggin' rifle.
So that's the first definition. Then the second definition is a semi-automatic rifle that has a fixed magazine with the capacity to accept more than 10 rounds, except for a tubular device that's only for 22 rimfire. So what that's telling me is we need to come up with 22 Double Dog Douglas, like Supreme Magnum rimfire.
It doesn't even like 223 is clear. Then a tube fire 223 will be fine. Right?
It's not rimfire.
Oh, is it rimfire?
It says 22 caliber rimfire ammunition. Also 17 HMR. You're out.
Not only that, but do they know how many guns there are that have tubular magazines in excess of 10 rounds? That like I have at least I can cram at least a dozen rounds of 4440 into a Remington 14.5.
Well, but that's manually operated.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right.
Wait, what's an auto loading? There's got to be. I'm gonna find the example. There's a case here somewhere.
Subpart C, any part, combination of parts, components, device, attachments, or accessories that is designed or functions to accelerate the rate of fire of a semi-automatic firearm, but not convert the firearm into a machine gun. So spring kits.
That's every trigger job.
Well, no. Well, trigger jobs don't accelerate the rate of fire. Neither do binaries. Like you don't change the cyclic rate just by, changing that. So I feel like it has to be a spring kit and a lighter bolt.
No, because they're definitely, when they say that, they're targeting.
Well, they are.
They're going to be. They're targeting bump stocks when they say that, right?
Right.
Like that sort of mentality, or like trigger cranks, or they're probably thinking binary triggers as well. So they're thinking of a external rate of fire, not the internal rate of fire. You know what I mean? They're thinking of like user magnification.
Oh, by the way, yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but that's how I would argue it in court.
Yeah, but shorter reset on the trigger, and they're going to be like, "I accelerated the rate of fire."
So let me just tell you the definition of semi-automatic assault weapon. So here's where it starts. Still scrolling.
We're looking at a page. He's scrolling for a very
still scrolling. Long time. Here's where it ends.
That's a
lot of texty. So yeah, let's keep going. Let's figure out how they're defining lines. All right, so next up is where we get to a semi-automatic pistol. All right, so a pistol is an assault weapon if it has a magazine that's not fixed. So C96 boys, you're in. And has any one of the following: threaded barrel, second pistol grip, barrel shroud, capacity to accept a magazine at some location outside of the pistol grip,
Don't we already
a semi-automatic version of an automatic firearm, which what the hell is that?
What?
It weighs 50 ounces or more when unloaded. Bench rest boys, you're out. And it has a stabilizing brace or similar component. So any one of these on your pistol, it's out.
Hold on, there's some confusion. I have the barrel shroud on the pistol. I still don't. The barrel shroud thing messes with me. The capacity.
So it's like Tech 9, basically. Barrel
what
shroud.
The heck is a semi-automatic version of an automatic firearm?
That means it's the funny shape. I guess Draco.
I don't know. Like, is it? Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's
Or I don't remember what they were going, because that was
you know
in the
that
older
just makes me
bill.
think. That makes me think of the what was it? The rifle ammo thing where you would
Yeah,
somebody would make a handgun that happened to chamber a rifle cartridge, and
yeah.
therefore it would become a handgun cartridge. Isn't that what it was?
There. Yep. And then it
And
couldn't
so
be
somebody's
imported
going to
because
make
it
a
was armor
full auto
piercing.
version of every handgun, and then every handgun's going to be a semi-auto version of a full auto thing.
Yeah. So is the Glock 17 without a switch in it? A semi-automatic version?
That's what I'm, because it doesn't. There must have been something that they thought they were describing there that they're not.
Yeah, and it might have been I think it might have been the Mac 10s and stuff, because this is lifted off of an older law. Like that, I've seen that wording many times before.
That sounds like some 80s.
Yeah, but it also doesn't make any sense. So
Right.
then, okay, now we're on to E. A semi-automatic pistol with a fixed magazine that has the capacity to accept more than 10 rounds.
Oh,
So Longboy C96s, you're out.
Yep.
F, a semi-automatic shotgun that has the capacity to utilize a magazine that is not a fixed magazine and has any one of the following: folding, telescoping, or detachable stock, pistol grip, or bird's head grip. Fixed mag.
I wonder which gun they were going after there.
Fixed mag with the capacity to accept more than 5 rounds, the ability to accept a detachable magazine, a forward grip, or a grenade launcher.
On the shotgun.
The shotgun grenades. Of course, G, any shotgun with a revolving cylinder. Because everyone knows the Street Sweeper is so much more combat effective than the Saiga 12.
Remind me, I have to show you a patent, by the way.
Okay. So now we get to where they list the guns, and let's just, all of the following rifles, copies, duplicates, variants, or altered facsimiles with the capability of any such weapon thereof.
Oh,
all AK types.
AKs.
Yep. And what I just love is when they include the hyper rare stuff that's only in very expensive collections, like SA 93s.
Right.
Or so let's keep.
My favorite is Bubba will be mad. The SKS with the detachable magazine is no good.
Yeah. All AR types, including, and then this is where you get to the fun things they consider an AR. The Beretta AR-70.
Yeah, that's an AR.
The ACR.
Yep.
The Carbon 15, which, how many of those are still intact at this point? Let's see. Most of
it's a long list. Give up.
It's a long list.
Just give up. This is bad.
The Barrett M107 and M82.
Yeah, these are ARs.
The Calico Liberty series.
The CX4 Storm.
The Feather AT9. What? Why?
No, whoa.
What?
Whoa. I need you to read. No, 3 down from that. Read it out loud. No, not that one.
Oh no.
Read it out loud, Matt.
Keltec Sub 2000 SU16 and RFB, but not the RDB?
These are completely that's true. Why not the RDB? I can't. 223, it's fine, but 308 off limits.
No, the 308 off limits. The PE57.
No, I'm sorry. I can't get over it. They're scared of the sub 2000.
It folds, dude.
What the hell happened?
All Thompson rifles.
Mine broke.
All Thompsons. The Umarex Uzi rifle. That's the 22.
Wait. Are those all? Are they all Thompson? Okay, they're just rifles. I was like really afraid I was gonna see like a Thompson single shot contender in there.
Right.
They were gonna just be confused. Okay,
and then these are more AK. I'm looking for the like incredibly insane stuff. The Keltec PLR-16 got mentioned separately. Okay, I didn't see FAMAS in here.
Right.
That used to be in here.
Well, Ian got an exemption.
It still feeds the features test. But yeah, so this is completely nut job stuff.
Right.
So yeah, now that we know the definition here, well, you can know something that's really important. So it passed the committee, so it's going forward now. Mr. David Hoggs was there to help.
Right.
And he helped by sprinting into the session and screaming, "You are perpetuating violence. Stop these things now. which he chanted while being removed forcibly.
Oh, good. Okay, so he's going to be prosecuted for that, right?
No.
Because there's some guys that did an unguided tour of the Capitol.
No, that's different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was not allowed.
Oh, okay. But this
Yeah.
is sort of allowed.
This is a more different thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We only interrupted legislation. And
yeah, no, and instead of like literally
an empty
nothing,
building.
yeah, just wandering around. The outburst came as the House Judiciary Committee was debating legislation that would ban assault weapons, a term used to describe semi-automatic rifles.
Oh my god.
During Wednesday's hearing, tempers ran high. Apart from Hogg's disruption, lawmakers accused each other of political maneuvering and being insensitive to gun violence.
I want to submit my own bill. It's called the Defense Weapon Amnesty, which lists everything as a defense weapon.
Yeah. So the best part about this was Massey asked why, because all cops and everything, all government agents are exempted. Massey was like, can we amend this not to exempt the Department of Education and I think it was the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. And they, of course, the supporters of the bill are like, no. And he's like, I don't see why the Department of Education needs to be able to buy AR-15s if you're saying they're weapons of war. And then Eric Swalwell, which we've all confirmed many times over, is Garfield's father.
Right.
It like starts barking. Massey cedes the floor to Swalwell, and Swalwell comes up with a hot zinger.
Okay.
He says, well, if they don't need them, why do you need them?
I mean, okay. Why would the Department of Education need... I'm so confused. This is all very confusing to me.
Right. So, like, the best part is Swalwell tweeted himself saying that, like, Massey said something trying to talk down on the bill. Didn't go well for him. Like, Swalwell thinks that he zinged him.
Yeah, we can't trust citizens to have these, but we can trust the FDA. That's
the FDA and Department of Education.
Right. To be fair, why would let's say that you believe in these sorts of bans, why would any interior department have access to stuff that is a weapon of war if it's interior facing? You know what I mean? Like,
to fulfill their duties.
Yeah, their duties.
Oh, listen, the Postmaster General needs the best stuff.
Who?
But so I love
all I'm saying is Bonnie and Clyde got taken down by like Remington Model 8s. Like, why do you guys need all that fancy crap?
Yeah. Yep.
Like, they had like a BAR and Thompson, all this. Everybody always talks about all the cool stuff Bonnie and Clyde had. Remington Model 8, it's like a 4-shot, 35 Remington rifle.
Yeah, but that's a fat bullet, though.
Yeah, but they got donked by that. So I don't, fat load of good the BAR did.
Right. Well, anyway, let's move on from that. Well, I don't think this is going to go much further. It's fairly easy to get out of here. Committees right now, but the interesting thing is what's
the expected thing here? It's going to clear House and get screwed up in Senate. Is that what everybody's predicting?
Yeah.
Okay. It's also deeply unconstitutional, even if it cleared both.
Right, and especially given what just happened at the Supreme Court, which is like, what are you guys doing? This is why I call this the retaliation era.
That's why I think that's what they're doing, though, is because in their minds, the Supreme Court says that you can't. So if anybody missed it, we're referencing the my brain.
The Bruin decision.
Yeah, but the regulatory body, it just EPA. Thank you. You didn't help at all, but thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. The idea
West Virginia v. EPA.
Yeah, that's the thing that everybody's been projecting is that since the EPA got slapped for basically creating legislation, that the ATF could similarly be slapped by this particular court for just generating legislation, which we've seen so many times. Not only that, but the way this court's been deciding, there's no way something like the assault weapons ban would ever hold up, because that is a horrible nightmare, which we'll probably talk about in a minute. But the point being is, it looks like they might actually be trying to codify more things into legislation as sort of a bulwark against a one shot from the from the Supreme Court.
Yeah, no, if they keep letting ATF determine everything, it's literally a one shot.
Right. So they have to kind of like they'll have to have a decision in which the Supreme Court goes against the ATF and then goes against this legislation. You have to do both, and so this may just be shoring up their defenses in a way,
which is so utterly bizarre.
Right.
Well, but hey, at least they got Dettelbach.
Oh, what's a Dettelbach?
Oh, he's the new you never heard about him? He's the
No.
new Arch Grand Wizard of the ATF.
What did he do that we're getting him back?
What do you mean? Oh,
sorry, what was his title again? I missed out on it.
It's the Arch Grand Wizard of the ATF.
Oh, okay, that's a role, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that that's a role in the Democratic Party. I think.
Yeah, the Democrats invented the Grand Wizards, right?
So, and I mean, just look at him. You could trust him.
That guy looks like. I mean, I admit he looks like he'd be good to go down to the pub.
Yeah, I feel like he could put one or two back.
Face.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so. And it's interesting how important this is, right? ATF hasn't had a.
Where did this guy come from?
He had several failed state political bids in which he was basically married to Everytown and all of the other places. He pushed aggressively for red flag laws, assault weapon bans, and that type of stuff.
Like a great guy.
This is a very good person who's supposed to dispassionately lead a administrative agency with enforcing existing law.
I still hold that the ATF and the legislature are slightly freaked out by the current Supreme Court, because I saw some interviews with this guy, and some of the gun guys were going, "Oh, this guy might not be that bad because look at him in this interview, right?" And in the interview, he's saying like, "Well, we're the ATF, we can't really legislate. Well, it's up to Congress to decide this. I don't have an opinion. I just run the laws as they are. I just do the laws as they are, right?" The only problem with that statement is the ATF is already exceeding the laws as they are and writing their own laws. It's already happening, right?
Yep.
And the laws that there are also already unconstitutional. Period.
That's true.
Right? So even if you ignore the ATF overreaching, which already does, even if you ignore the laws being unconstitutional, which they are, it's clear that what he's doing is trying to avoid that sort of EPA style decision shifting focus over to the ATF. He's going, we don't legislate, which is exactly what you would say when you're legislating, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not going to say, well, we're legislating anyway, F you, because that'll draw fire. So instead, you just do the thing and then turn around and go, I've never done it. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's bad.
People forget what criminals do. They lie the entire time.
Yeah,
that's the point.
No, I didn't steal it.
Right, like just constantly. And so it's really funny because like he's saying the good things. I'm like, you guys know.
Well, the other thing is, it's like maybe he is being sincere. That's bad too, because guess what? If the ATF starts behaving itself, that makes it a lot harder to challenge these laws.
Yeah, it does.
If he's smart enough to behave himself, that could prolong this fight by decades.
I think the thing we had this conversation. I swear we had this conversation. We might have had it on this show, in which I said the best thing for us is to have someone who is rabidly anti-gun, because they will absolutely be a wolf in wolf's clothing, not a wolf in sheep's clothing, and they will make mistakes, and we can capitalize on those. And people call me, I think I got called an accelerationist for that. And I'm like, I'm not saying I want more gun laws. I'm saying I want someone to overplay their hand so they get checked.
Mm-hmm. They bust.
Well, the new thing is that every court, like the courts dodge what they don't want to deal with. If you have a court case that comes around that looks like it's going to actually clean up some gun law, then they just dismiss it. They just get rid of it. They don't prosecute it. So you'd have to have someone dumb enough to put his foot down on the pedal when he shouldn't, or else you literally can't get anything back off of them. Because what was it? There was a 80% guy in California, and the judge asked, well, wait a second, this doesn't seem to be a receiver. Whoop, that case just left. And sure, it's nice that guy didn't go to jail or whatever.
Right.
But for the whole of the people, it would have been better to see that all the way through the courts, because it would have been like, what the hell are you doing that lowers the, you know what I mean? Like, it's very odd. Although there's a macro game about whether we would prefer the lower or the upper to be the receiver, quite honestly.
Right.
But that's a separate issue. Making the thing that could be made out of cardboard the receiver, choice move. Thanks, guys.
And that was ATF's own doing because they were obsessed with swapping lowers. They were obsessed with it.
Look what they did with the set me. That was a complete mess too. Like where it's just like, well, this is the receiver, but then that you can't have that either. If that has these tabs, then that's bad. And you're like, but that's not a receiver, is it? Like, which is it? Make up my mind.
It's both. It's a conversion piece.
If you have this and you have that, then that's constructive intent. Okay, where's that written down in the law? Is that, if I control F the entire U.S. legal code, am I going to find constructive intent?
Yeah.
Like,
and this is, and honestly, you know what? I've been getting, so a lot of you guys know I'm involved in a case right now. We're representing somebody who is accused of selling or whatever, advertising machine gun conversion devices. And he was talking about a drawing is basically what it is.
It's somebody drew a picture on a piece of metal.
Right.
By the way, even if you did take the time to follow the tracing, you would still have to have very specific components to even be able to use it. It's not like you could.
Well, and also we don't even know if the lines are exact or not.
Right. Like you'd have to file a form to even find that out.
Exactly. And people have been lighting me up saying, "Oh, now's not the time for this. Now's not the time for this." It's like, well, one, it's my client and I need to do everything I can for him. So it's time. Two, exactly like you were saying, it's the best possible time. Yeah. Because they overplayed their hand.
I never know of anybody trying to say that we should arrest the guy who wrote the Anarchist Cookbook, even though there's flaws all up in that. But at the time, people thought that was a reliable book for terrorism, right?
Right.
And no one said, oh, he deserves, like, we should arrest him legally. We can do that. But he literally was giving recipes for destruction according to him, you know,
right.
Like it was his. And then this guy's going, huh, look at this. This is
funny thing. Yeah.
This
and
makes
you get to go to bed.
Mad.
Right. Turns out it did make them mad.
Yeah, I know. Right?
But like, and people are giving me crap saying it's not time yet. Like you shouldn't go after the NFA.
Well, hold on.
We haven't.
Can we explain a little bit about the way you're fighting for him? Because there's some headlines that said that you were out to repeal the NFA, which is true, but not necessarily what's happening in this case. Like Matt would very happily repeal the NFA, but that's not really.
Well, it would require me becoming a politician, and I don't want to sell my soul like 8 times over.
Yeah, we should really send chocolates to Massey.
We should, and like a little tiny engine block.
Yeah, like ooh, can we get one of those? Anyway,
yeah.
So what were we saying?
It doesn't matter. Oh no, you were telling me to talk about like what's going on.
Yeah, tell him the basis for your defense. Or
the basis for my defense is one. I mean, like there's a lot of moving parts in it, by the way. But of course, the part that's made headlines from our filings, from me and my buddy Zach took this case on a while back before a lot of this precedent came out. Is okay, government, you are using this law to attack somebody who you allege has talked about a thing that, again, you allege may possibly be used to make another thing. And yet, like, so like that's the how it actually worked out practically, right? But in the government's allegation is they were advertising machine guns. So it's like you've collapsed everything in the middle and just decided on your own that a drawing of a thing, which again, we don't even know whether it's an exact drawing of the thing or not, is that thing because you said it is. And so because you said it is, he gets to go to special government cage.
Right.
We're saying, well, there's a lot of constitutional problems. One, if the law says this, it either doesn't say this, or it's written in such a vague way that it has to be unconstitutional, because there's just no possible way that a law that targets a specific thing could include talking about a drawing of potentially the thing. Right. And if that is the case, the Supreme Court precedent now tells us any law that affects Second Amendment conduct must be supported by historically analogous legislation.
Mm-hmm.
And not only is there no historical record of supporting a banning of a drawing of a thing,
Right.
there's certainly no historical record supporting a banning of talking about a drawing of a thing.
Right.
And so like that's so
Yeah.
basically we're like, all right, you want this law to pass? Or you want this law to pass muster? All right, prove it. That's the whole thing. And they did file their response where they did not prove it.
Yeah, I know.
And, yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
The one thing they're hinging on all this isn't that it was like semi-constructed. They considered it to be like an 80% or some crap, where they think that by having it etched onto a piece of metal that somehow is like a perforated punch-out part. Was that what they were arguing?
Nope.
They're not even doing that.
Nope. They're just, it's the thing.
Just that it's a tracing. So in their mind, if you'd written on there with marker, indelible marker, that would somehow be equivalent. Like,
well, that's something we've got to explore. Because I mean, they haven't given me their whole playbook.
This is insane. It's also insane that he can be sitting around waiting on all this over his head when they haven't even made a case. Like, there's nothing there yet.
The government really has a storied history of making a complete mess of the lives of human beings without really caring.
Well, they all get to go home at night and they're getting paid to do it. You know.
Yeah. So it's horrible. The reason I brought that up is that just like I'm so frustrated that people are telling me, "Oh, why'd you get involved?" It's like, well, one, if it was you,
yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't you want me to do this for you?
Well, couldn't you do it without reaching to the thing? And it's just like, that's literally the principle on which this.
But it's like also let's say I do what's suggested of these non-JD holding people, which is wait till the Supreme Court says assault weapon bans are no good. Wait till the Supreme Court says like everything else is no good, and then do
them out of prison.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, and so after we've won all those battles, ATF is going to be, or the government or whoever is going to still be behaving in such a rampant and maniacal way as to expose themselves to this type of attack. No, they're going to be like, I mean, the moment they lose assault weapons, which they will, they're going to be dotting their I's and crossing their T's.
Yeah, on who they prosecute.
And everything they do.
Right.
And all of their decisions and rulings and opinions.
And again, this goes back to our earlier conversation. They have to make the mistake for you to catch them, because right now, if they withdraw the case, it doesn't get yanked through the court, which is a real problem. This sort of modern understanding of standing is really starting to piss me off. Because the minute it looks like the citizen might win,
they just go, whoops, sorry, and you can't. It's like, what are you going to do?
Get it to the you can't even take anything to the Supreme Court anymore, because you have to have a prosecutor that's so determined that they're willing to blow it up, you know?
Right. And that just don't care. Or for whatever reason. And I don't care, right? Whatever happens, I'm going to represent my clients, period.
Right.
And it's a lot easier to handle these cases in the civil context where you represent a company that like wants to make a thing. There's ways that you can attack these laws in a civil context. But again, it's so easy to ditch those lawsuits.
Right. They can just jettison it the minute it doesn't go their way.
Zoop. If it looks like you're going to win, they just go zoop and they ditch it on standing because they'll modify their practices.
To be fair, that's probably what you're looking at. If you get into a position in which you have them on the ropes, they're probably just going to walk. And your clients will be fine. But, this prediction that we're going to turn everything inside out, they require them to be determined enough to stick with it.
Well, who knows?
So
we'll have to
make sure when you see the prosecutor, when no one's looking, just go like this. Like do like the neener, and just see if you can really wind up the prosecution so that they just stick with it no matter how flawed.
You think is that still as offensive as it was in 1801?
It doesn't. Just do something to make them like bite your thumb at them. But like,
you know what I'll do? I'll show them elbow.
Yeah, just show them your weenus. But like, you just got to make it like personal, but not legal at all on the side, so that you can keep them in the fight. Just get them real mad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to telegraph too much, but it's. I can tell you, I ain't backing down.
This is the macro game, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I'm just so. I don't know, man. That's just been getting to me.
But Matt,
And,
what are you doing? Why would you defend another American from being wrongly prosecuted for what was not a machine gun, which, by the way, shouldn't be illegal anyway? What is wrong with you, you idiot? This isn't the time. We only have the best stacked Supreme Court we've ever had.
I'm sorry.
We only have the most optimized
Sorry.
Supreme Court for exactly this ever. You should really wait until they screw it up.
I sorry, okay?
Yeah, I know.
I will let my client down now, okay?
Don't you know that we're really used to doing things the way we've been doing them that hasn't worked? Changing the way we're used to doing things makes us feel stupid.
Yeah. Wait, why are you doing that thing that we claim that we do?
What? You're doing something and we're winning. I hate it. Also, whenever we win, we don't get as many donations. Looking at you, NRA.
Yeah, let's pop an NRA. Yeah, it's just fascinating how they handle.
You guys know we make more money whenever there's more gun laws. It makes them donate more. We should get some more of those gun laws.
You guys got any of them fun laws?
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, so that was an aside that I'm gonna have to now add into the show notes because that was like a whole 10-minute discussion.
Yeah, that's good.
Boop.
Of insane rambling.
Is it the time to challenge unconstitutional laws?
The answer is always
no.
Yes. Who's going to say no ever for 5 minutes? I could be like mid pinching it off, and I'm going to be like, "Yeah, now's the time. Let's go." Like, if your answer is like, "Sorry, I got diarrhea," you're not in it, man. Like we're ready to go.
Like now's not the time. When's the time? So, well, we got some nice news though. At least we're moving into the future, right? Mm-hmm. We got AIs, artificial intelligence.
All right.
You already know. Soon, anime wifes. It's going to be real. It's going to be awesome. Already using them.
Do you ever think that artificial intelligence is going to be offended by the word artificial later on? Like they're going to be like, "No, we're actually intelligent. You guys are stupid." Like we have actual intelligence.
They're gonna have to come up with another word. There's gonna be a great
creatures
shift.
Are accidental intelligence. AI.
You're a bunch of neuron coincidences.
Yeah, a bunch of piles of freaking meat that just ended up like moving in a direction.
Yeah. I don't like the computer overlord, but
it's too late.
So UC Davis though, they're helping out. All right, they did a study. They looked at all the first-time gun buyers, right? Because after all this, these world events happened, we got all these new first-time gun buyers, and we had to find out why this was bad.
Okay.
And so the conclusion is that they should be denied or delayed their transfers because the AI first-time gun buyers.
Okay.
So basically, there should be no more first-time gun buyers.
That would really help with gun. We really want to get gun sales down. How we do that? Just don't let them do it.
No more. That's done.
Wow, thank God we spent $1 million on that AI.
No, well, the AI is saying you should delay or deny these transfers because they're going to commit suicide.
Wouldn't this be a self-solving problem? If you're the opposition, aren't you just like...
You're like, right. Why didn't UC Davis go like, hold on?
UC Davis is like, okay, so every time someone buys a gun for the first time, they kill themselves? We should give them free ammo.
You think they just brushed this whole study on? I mean, I haven't seen a first-time gun buyer in a long time. Maybe. Huh? Yeah. So risk factors that were identified by the algorithm to be predictive of firearm suicide included older age, first-time firearm purchaser, white race.
White people do love killing themselves.
Live close to the gun dealer, and number 5, revolver.
Just the word revolver?
Purchasing a revolver.
Wait, why would they know you're purchasing how would they know you're purchasing a revolver?
This is probably done in California where it's all...
Is that tracked over there? Because, on the FFL form, it's like long gun, handgun. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, So, and it also depends on whether your state's a point of contact jurisdiction and how they handle that information. So, like,
Okay,
there's a lot of states
so there's a bunch of old white people shooting themselves with revolvers.
with revolvers at the closest gun dealer.
I should come up with an app for that, just to share the one revolver, so nobody has to like go through the whole process. Way more efficient.
Oh my god, that's
To be fair, if this is all the revolver, you're right. That makes it more likely this is California data. So if I was like an old white guy in California, I probably would shoot myself with the revolver because it's the only thing I could be allowed.
No,
to
you'd
buy.
be like, what can I buy? And they'd be like,
A revolver.
we have one Kimber and a lot of Smith and Wessons. Do you want the Kimber? It's $5,000.
Whatever's cheapest. I'm just
That'll be the Smith and Wesson 19. Just whatever cheap.
the only
Is
guys
that what it is? Is the cheapest gun you can buy in California is a Taurus? Like,
yeah, it's gotta be.
Probably it. It's gotta be it. Oh my god.
There we go. Just free ammo. That'll solve the problem. Go for it.
Yeah, free ammo, community gun share, community revolver.
Like every time they make like an AI chatbot, it just becomes racist instantly.
Like, do that.
Yeah. This is you're the either artificial intelligence isn't working or we really suck. Like,
you know what it might be? It's that artificial intelligence is like factors that the people, and this is a idiot theory I'm coming up with right now.
Okay,
but it's the factors that the people who create it think are most important.
Oh, every time, because all this is just a shitty statistical analysis. That's
right. And so the
every
AI,
stupid AI thing you ever hear is statistical probability,
right,
pounded through a dumb algorithm. You know what I mean? Like it's worse than manual statistical probability,
right,
which is already not great. You know.
My favorite thing about AI, like in machine learning, is when you watch how these AIs like figure out how to do a Mario Kart level. It's like, have you seen those videos?
Well, they just plow into the wall 4,000 times and then they go 1 inch, and then they plow into the next wall 4,000 times and then they go 1 more inch.
Yeah, and it's like, this is the future.
Yeah, thanks.
It's like, whereas we've got this Japanese kid that figured out how to do it fast as possible.
I just want to point out that I don't think it's all that different from human beings. Like, I don't think we hit our children enough. Not directly. Don't just run in and punch your children. You need to set them up so that they will hurt themselves, but not die over and over again. The number of things I learned by hurting myself and not quite dying were numerous. Yeah,
I got electrocuted a couple of times, and I think I got smarter.
Yeah.
Maybe directly because of it.
You want to put that petty in there? Go for it, sport.
It's a paper clip. It was really. I also learned how a fuse works at that point. Yeah. So now moving on to companies that support the type of behavior that we are exhibiting right now, known or unknown. They may not watch this show.
Do they watch
VZ Grips?
These are the ones that did the Animu grips for you, right?
Yeah, they did the Animu grip. Look here. Yeah. No, that's you.
That's me.
That's your wrong one. Hold on.
But thank you.
That's me.
Uh-huh.
And there's the Animu grip. I'm not supposed to pick it up because of the way we record these, but you can see it's got Hatsune. Not supposed to.
We should do these on Utreon.
Yeah, we should.
Okay. Utreon, for anybody that's curious, will let you touch stuff.
I'm gonna do it anyway.
Okay, I believe in you.
It's got Hatsune mic on it.
Yep,
it's so cute.
Definitely one of the things that's causing the death of America. Thank you.
Shut up. It's a 10mm Bruin. I shoot this sucker at 100 yards.
This is why Matt's scared of real women.
With ball ammunition. How is that why I'm scared of?
You know what I hate about trying to date women? All these third dimensions.
It's hard to comprehend. I never got through trig.
It makes me dizzy. It's like I'm wearing 3D glasses and they complain.
They're mean.
Yeah, they're kind of wet.
VG Grips they sell products with 3 dimensions on them, as well as 2 dimensions. You can get the Come and Take Them t-shirt. It's $18.95 if my website there it is. Look at that. It's available in medium through extra large because we don't have any small boys in our listener base. That's right. If you're small, get out.
As someone that sells t-shirts, I'll sell 3 smalls, and then I'll have 14 requests for do you have 5X? That's normal.
I like that they have a whole thing on their website just like shop all semi-auto pistol grips, but then you have 1911 grips. It's its own thing.
They got AR grips?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, I want to see an AR grip. Show me one of those.
Those are cool.
The brown one looks dope. So we've definitely like put up their stuff before, and as much as we're clearly shilling, I literally have VZ grips on my gun.
Yeah, and I literally have them on my.
And I'm a
gun.
fat idiot who smacks into everything, and I have a CZ that has like gouges in the back of the frame, all the paint's chipped off and everything. The grips are not harmed at all. Like, they're not even mushed. I don't know what they're making them out of, but gosh.
It's made of a patented G10 material thing.
I kind of want to try that. Ask them to send us one.
So, you know what I asked them to send me?
What'd you ask them to send you?
And I have to remind them. Okay. Or maybe they're sick of me. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
So I got an end frame.
Do you have a coupon code? Because that would help.
I do have a coupon code. It is this week 15. So I may just use that right now to get it. Okay, I forgot. Thanks for reminding me. I have a coupon code. But yeah, I got an end frame, and I bought it out of the garbage bin at a pawn shop.
Oh yeah, I remember this conversation.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get Tactical Diamond, or are you gonna get VZ?
Well, do they have Tactical Diamond in Hyena Brown? They do. The picture isn't doing. That's whatever. Yeah, but look, I just love the Hyena Brown color.
No, the green's better.
You like? Well, which green? Predator?
No, not that. That's not good.
Or Durgy Olive?
Yeah, Durgy Olive.
What about black red?
I am not a fan, but if certain guns, you could make it look like it was from Farscape.
Black cherry is kind of nice. It's almost woody.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I like Hyena Brown.
No, that's the wrong one.
It's the wrong one. I got the black one.
Don't do that.
Yeah. Anyway, go to VZGrips.
And use coupon code this week 15. Does capitalization matter?
Probably not. I hope not. I don't know. Guys, let me know. Try the way I have it copy pasted into my thing, it's capital THIS, capital WEEK 15. There are no spaces. If you put in a space, you're out. The order's canceled. They're not even gonna let you buy anything that day.
So I'm looking at the rest of the stuff we have to talk about, and it's real. This is real stuff. So before we go any further, can we talk about the fact that you went on Johnny Rackets?
Who?
Johnny Rackets.
Johnny Rackets,
the log man.
Yeah, Stephen H. Rekieta.
Yeah.
He's got a big nose.
Matt went on, if you're unaware, if you're not part of the YouTube community, there is a, I don't know how to describe him. He's a law commentator who is a huge freaking nerd who stays up late every night and talks to his internet friends live.
Yeah.
And he's become very popular, especially over the COVID time period, because people were bored.
Mm-hmm.
So
and lonely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he's your little friend, as long as you pay him. But he got a huge boost off the a couple
Rittenhouse.
Of things. Yeah, Rittenhouse. He got a huge boost off of.
Well, then he got a huge boost off of this Johnny Depp trial thing.
Yeah, Johnny Derp.
Yeah,
and so on a video entitled Johnny Derp Part 17, instead he switcherooed and brought Matt on,
which was very weird.
It's not even titled for you.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with what I was talking about.
So
but it was an awesome show, actually.
No, this is a generally a lone lunatic yelling in the night. And then Matt wandered in, and what I saw was I believe the French call it folie à deux. So there's the complete insanity of two people alone in a room at night. I do believe some of the things you guys said are prosecutable.
So a lot of my viewers are also viewers of his channel, and they were like, you can just really be yourself with this guy, like just go full throttle. And so I was like, I got frustrated because he had stood me up a couple nights.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to go in there totally half cocked, like a bit drunk, and just being as inflammatory as possible.
Do we know the name of this particular video, the date or something, so people can check it out?
Uh,
Because
well, he did change it to interview with Fudbusters. So if you look
okay,
at
good. So
Rekieta,
you can look up Fudbusters,
yeah,
Rekieta.
but it's like, you know, Lauren, whatever her name is. I don't know who the name of the female celebrity was, but it was ... and interview with Fudbusters.
Yeah, it was the one that pooped the bed.
Yeah, the one that pooped the bed.
Right.
And
so
I didn't know what to expect.
Matt blows in and immediately lures what was already an unstable person into a depraved alleyway of anti-federalist rhetoric. But I'm bringing this up for a good point, though, is that a lot of his audience is pro-gun. A lot of his audience is theoretically legally informed in the sense that they're watching legal content. And then he himself is a lawyer who talks about law a lot. And then they wander into the dark corner that is gun law, and just how truly messed up it is. And so a lot of what Matt was telling him was like, because he would do these things where there's these assumptions that are made about certain legislation or certain law or certain whatever, and Matt would just simply go, well, they have no authority to do that. And he's like, wait, but they do that. And he's like, yeah, no one ever gave them the authority. He's like, wait, we're just doing it? And he's like, yeah, it's just... And then, like, so Max is like, you don't understand, this is what happened. He would just list stuff, like just explaining the assault weapons ban, you know what I mean? Explaining the NFA. And, you know, it's one of those things where I believe, for example, so that I'm not too ambiguous, I distinctly remember you guys were talking about SBRs, SBSs, short barrel shotguns and rifles.
And he was just assuming, he's like, well, of course, because they banned those because they were crime guns.
I believe he said the Valentine's Day Massacre.
Yeah,
which
he did.
Not, they were riot, like it was like, I mean, yes, like submachine guns were prevalent, and that's what we all think of. But then when it comes to short barrel stuff that he's specifically talking about, all the shotguns and stuff, for the majority of them, they were all riot length guns, like still legal today. A riot length shotgun is often about a 20-inch barrel, which is still longer than the limit. And that's almost like, that's factory was 20-inch standard cylinder bore, and that's what everybody was carrying around pretty much when they used shotguns. Very few whippets were ever made. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and he had just assumed, he's like, right, and of course, you know, they regulate SBRs because of the massacre and their crime guns and stuff, and I'm like, no. And I explained, and he was like taken aback. I was like, the reason SBRs are regulated is because they were trying to ban handguns, and somebody said, right, but what's to stop somebody from just taking a rifle and cutting it down? And they went, we got you. So they put an end run around the handgun ban and then took the handgun ban out and left the end run ban.
Yeah, and this is a man who's pro-gun and everything else, and he goes, wait, is that what happened? And you're like, yes. And that's how far we've wandered from the actual truth of the NFA, which was supposed to target fully automatic and handguns. And then they took away handguns, and they left all the garbage.
Well, and then also silencers just wandered in.
Right. And there's no conversation about why or when or how. Like, it's actually kind of a mystery how they got in there.
It's a total mystery to me. And and the fascinating thing is, because, you know, I included some of the legislative history of the NFA in some of my filings, and people have been acting like I was wielding black magic. It's like,
read the quote. Do you have it?
Okay.
Your supplemental motion is public knowledge, right?
Right. Yes, it is. But it was... I mean, we don't have to read it exactly.
Do you want me to read it?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Read
this is a So, as a historian, this is I'm sorry, I really want people to hear this.
Yeah.
This is coming from Matt's own supplemental motion. The testimony of then Attorney General Cummings at the 1934 hearing on the National Firearms Act, in which an interviewer asked him, "I hope the courts will find no doubt on a subject like this, but I was curious to know how we escaped that provision in the Constitution," as in the Second Amendment, right? And Attorney General Cummings said, "Oh, we do not attempt to escape it. We are dealing with another power, namely the power of taxation and of regulation under the Interstate Commerce Clause. You see, if we made a statute absolutely forbidding any human being to have a machine gun, you might say there is some constitutional question involved. But when you say we will tax the machine gun, And when you say the absence of a license showing payment of the tax has been made indicates that a crime has been perpetrated, you are easily within the law. And then so the interviewer goes, in other words, it does not amount to prohibition but allows of regulation. And the Attorney General Cummings said that is the idea. We have studied that very carefully. So Cummings is saying this is a tax matter, and we are using taxes to beat your rights out of you.
Right. And it's
Which,
even the way they said that.
By the way, he said
Escape.
if we banned it, if we actually banned the manufacture and sale of these, that would be a constitutional crisis, right?
Right. A constitutional problem is what he said,
Right.
which, and they're being very high context.
They did that.
Right?
They just waited 50 years for everybody to forget he ever said that.
Yeah.
Did it anyway.
Yeah, no, they literally.
Well, he also says it's interstate. Like,
yeah,
if I can't manufacture and keep a machine gun in my state that doesn't have a law against it, why? Why would they?
Because
the Fed involved?
Like you said, 50 years later, no one ever talked about the fact that he directly said this, and then they just go, by the way, it's banned.
Right. So the
no pomp, no circumstance, voice vote.
We are the victims of enforcement, not even of the law. And people forget that. Like, they go, oh, that's illegal. And you're like, it isn't even illegal. It's just enforced. Right. That's it. It's just enforced without regard to the law or not. That's insanity.
Well, and people will fight us and say, no, this has always been the case. Why? Like, when I was at Cato, we had this concept called the statrix. And it was that some people are so immersed in being dominated by the state that when you suggest to them that freedom may exist, they react with like violent apprehension. It's like telling somebody in Maryland or whatever state, I don't care what state, telling somebody in those states where you have to go to a liquor store to buy beer, telling them, hey, did you know, like, what if you could just, when you're buying your groceries, get some beer? They're going to be like, what? That's ridiculous. Right?
I mean, to be fair, Mr. Clemens said this. He said that it's easier to fool people than it is to convince them that they've been fooled.
Right.
I mean, you've been living in a reality. You, as a human being, you don't sit there and have a textbook knowledge of the law around you. You just know how things work.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, I guarantee you, we are very comfortable with suppressors, short barrel rifles, and things like that on tax stamps. Everybody knows how to e-file, blah, blah, blah. And even before the e-file really kicked off, there was, thanks to the internet, there was a culture of filing for like Form 1s, Form 2s, things like that, right? That did not exist in the 90s or the 80s. Right. So few people, pretty much only people who were really, really, really in the know did that stuff. And it was just because everyone else thought they couldn't. They just thought they couldn't. There's nothing, they could file the same forms.
Well, I remember when I first got into guns, like people say, well, you need a special license to have a silencer. You need a special license. It's like, and I didn't know anything. I remember the first time my buddy I remember when I was 20 years old, he came to my house and he's like, do you want to shoot my 22? And I'm like, well, we can't, we're in the neighborhood. He's like, don't worry, I got a silencer. I'm like, and I was terrified. I was like, what? And he goes, oh no, don't worry. And he opens this thing and he shows me what I now know is his tax stamp. But I was like, oh, you got a license? And he's like, yeah. Like that was
the license.
Yeah. Like,
that all comes from Hollywood though. And it goes back further than we think. Like, I listen to a lot of like 40s and 50s radio, and all the way back into the 30s, I've heard radio programs where they will be in the middle of Wyoming or something, and they talk about having a handgun permit. Like, they go, oh, he has a gun permit.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't have gun permits, but the city where they recorded the show had gun permits, and nobody had Wikipedia, so they weren't going to go check what states had it or not. They just assumed that just because they had gun permits, every state had gun permits. And
it's just like when when people would come into the shop and first time gun buyers, right? I mean, God rest their souls.
These poor old bastards.
Yeah, this poor old revolver buying crackers.
Yeah, I opened a business in which I removed the blood and re-blew revolvers from California. That's my
and they'd always be like, so how do I get this registered? And I'd be like, and I never bothered.
We get it all the time in South Carolina because we get
Really?
so, especially in my area, we have a metric ton of New Jerseys. Like just the minute they get like once they're done fighting it out up there, they just drag their tails all the way down to here. They just go down the highway. The joke is that they just grab like the jokes that they just grab the highway and they go till it ends because it's like once you hit Charleston, you then have to grab a smaller, shittier highway to go any further south. So they just end up here. Like this is where the big highway stops. You know, unless you want to go back inland, but they don't want to get any further away from the ocean the whole time, so that they hug the coast. So,
yeah.
So they all end up here, and constantly every gun seller here on a weekly basis has to be like, there's no registration in the state of South Carolina. What? There's no, we don't have, well, wait, who do I tell? No, me, you tell me. And because we're at a federally licensed store, you will fill out this form. And he's like, okay, and that's the registration. You're like, no, that's just a background check to make sure you're not a criminal. You guys vote for this. That's what we're doing. Yeah. So then they keep that, and you're like, they're not supposed to. They probably do, but they're not supposed to. Wait, what? They're not supposed to? Yeah. Well, how can they do it? Then it's like the red pill just drops. You're just like, then you have to be like, okay, so before you freak out, since you're obviously this confused, if you go to the flea market, you could just buy a gun.
Just buy one.
Just so you know, this paper only exists in this building.
Yeah.
If you just go out to the parking lot over there, don't ask the guy for paperwork. He's going to laugh at you. At which point they just freak out. Like every week, somebody's going, you just go to the flea market, just buy a gun? It's like, yeah.
Yes, cool.
Yeah,
you know what I started doing with those people?
Is your license from our state now? Did you actually set up, you're a resident of our state now? Yeah. Okay, yeah, then yes.
You know what I started doing with those people?
What?
I'd say, okay, well, if you want, it's optional, but for $50, I'll register it for you. And like usually they got people. One person was like, okay. And so I literally took out, I had a composite, like I had the Moo Cow composition book.
Yeah.
And I just put Matt's gun registry. And I opened it up. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, this is my registry. So I had that whole little Moo Cow composition book waiting for that to happen.
I need to do that.
Yeah,
I know so many guys that
for $50, I'll handle this for you. It's optional.
Right. You literally don't have to do this, but if you want me to register, I will.
I will register your gun in my gun registry. I should have been like, really I could have made money by just going, you want me to handle your registration? I'll do it right now.
You know what you should be doing? You should get really aggressive with them and just be like, okay, but just so you know, we don't register these here. And then just, what? Where do I do it? I don't know, but I don't do it here.
You gotta go somewhere else.
I'm pretty sure I do not know a single place where you could register a gun in this state.
Yeah, it's been a problem. I haven't seen it.
You can't. No one's been able to get their gun registered for easily in the state of South Carolina. No one's had their gun registered for at least like 50, 60 years.
Yeah,
like no one's been able to do it.
It's been no guys. They all quit.
Well, what do I do? Well, I'll give you the gun, but it's unregistered.
Oh, no, you know what? We gotta get like a little lemonade stand, and like on Saturdays, we'll just put outside of like the biggest shop gun registry. The gun registry, $50. Be like, all right, yeah, we'll take care of this.
We got it.
Okay, so if the government, like, so that's who they go to. They go to you guys if they ever need to find it, huh? No, I just know where all the guns are. I know where they are.
It's for me, not for them.
Yeah,
I'm not giving them crap.
For me to know.
We're the best registry. To be fair, we're a superior registry. Other registries tell the government. We're not telling them.
No, we're the best gun registry, actually. And you be sure to call me if you sell that
murder
thing.
Somebody, I'm not telling them shit.
Yeah, I don't care. I just want to know where to find that gun. Maybe someone gets something cool. Maybe I want it.
Oh my god, you can make better business on the guys that are like, like the crappy the hood dudes with like the straw purchasing girlfriend and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should set up your own registry that says that you're like, look, we got our own registry. We'll re-register it.
Yeah. No background check.
We will never tell the government, and there's no background check. You just give us $50. We'll write it down. They'll think it can't be traced. No, we just said we wouldn't tell them. They'll tell them. The gun store.
Then you get the $50 and out comes the mook out composition book. Like, hey, what was your name? Okay. Smith and Wesson. Ruger SR9. Gotcha. SCCY. Gotcha. Any other guns?
I'm just gonna put a check mark next to this one, really. You have like 5 pages in the book, and then it's just like the model name, and then just the quotation marks for same.
Just forever.
Like, let me turn to the SCCY page.
Yeah,
just put quotation marks and write this down.
Oh my god! All right, let's move on to more news.
We're bad.
So you remember? I mean, it was actually, I don't give a shit about politicians. But it seemed like that Japanese guy was pretty okay. He was always telling them to stop not having sex or whatever. But she's dead.
They got addicted to those 2D girls instead of the 3D wet ones.
They're way better.
You're falling for the trap. Welcome to Japan's death spiral.
Whatever. So as you know, he got
anime was a mistake.
It was to punish us for what we did to them and whatever.
They punish themselves too.
Birthrights. It's the birthrights.
All right. So anybody who doesn't know, former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was assassanaguy by a scrawny 40-year-old guy, right?
Yep. He was assassinated by the scout from TF2.
Yeah. That guy, like, when somebody told me his age, because he was like 40-something years old, and I was like, he looks like my nephew. You know what I mean? Like, so... Dude,
who had made this, and by the way, it wasn't, people always say, oh no, it was a pipe gun. No, it was electric.
That thing was like what was it? It was like a couple PVC pipes with like a piezo system of some sort, right?
Well, it was battery operated.
Do we know how he made the powder?
I'm sure someone does. I know how he might have made it because there've been chemists that have been publishing, homemade black powder stuff.
Or that's homemade, illegal. Actually, you can't do that. You can't tell people how to make a thing.
You know that you're right.
Yeah, the ATF said so on your client. Actually, it's not even that stupid because it's not even like he told him how. He just like
he was like, "Hi, cool, funny trick."
It's like a drawing of a thing that with no process.
I'd like to hand them a chemistry book and be like,
all meth. By ATF standards, every photo of that pipe gun, because we could probably figure it out, is a crime.
Well, because it's definitely an SB. Well, no fixed ammunition.
No, it's a smooth bore short barrel though.
Yeah. Who knows?
Anyway,
but no fixed ammunition though. That's the thing.
Oh, does that count?
Yeah, if it's a muzzle loader, doesn't take fixed ammunition.
Know he loaded it from the muzzle?
No, but given the fact that it was electrically ignited, it would make sense that it is a non-fixed. Like,
may I interject a piece of history here?
Yes,
I wandered into a patent for electric ignition of gunpowder.
From when?
I believe 1861 or 2. It was in my day that I was going through those years. So there was a electrical like coil wire, and they would apply electricity in order to detonate the charge. It was used for artillery though; it wasn't being used for. But because that was more useful to them at that time. But it was electrically ignited artillery powder.
That's pretty slick,
right?
Well, he made a small one, and it
was a two tube, right?
Yep.
But when they went to his house, he had like a 5 tube.
Yeah, he had one that was like Arduino controlled. I think it was like 9
was this
tubes.
One not Arduino controlled?
I don't know, but I know the one that had 9 barrels on it had like a screen, like a TFT screen.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Now I want to like. Is it weird that I get assassination bad, but just
Yeah.
for the technical challenge, I would like to build one of those.
Yeah, I want one too.
Especially because that's legal here. Like you can
Yeah,
just
no, I want the 9-barrel one, and I want the little fun app.
Does he get email in prison? Can we like ask him if he just like gives?
Well, it's Japan, so he'll probably be in there for like 2 years. So let's just ask him. But anyway, Japan is responding to this.
Okay.
And they're going to do the common sense thing.
Okay.
And so it's very illegal to
do what he did.
Do what he did.
That was already illegal.
It was very illegal, yes.
Nothing about that was legal.
No.
Okay. So what are they going to do to solve this problem?
They're going to make it illegal.
I feel like that'll help.
I think so.
Yeah, because clearly it wasn't illegal enough.
A government official on Tuesday said Japan would consider possible regulation on handmade guns, specifically in the wake of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's killing. There's already a legal ban on owning firearms in Japan, but authorities plan to look into any need to regulate handmade guns while examining the shooting that killed Mr. Abe and
Does
similar
that mean he's
incidents.
going to walk for the gun charges or something? Because, like, why would you introduce legislation? I mean, I know he assassinated a guy. That's what he'll get charged with, right? But, like, are they sitting there going, okay, now let's stick him for making a handmade gun? They went, we don't have a law against that.
Well, no, so the representative said, we are aware that current regulations strictly restrict firearms, whether handmade or not.
Okay.
However, they want to specifically regulate handmade ones now. In addition.
Okay, sure. Go for it, guys.
That's a very, you know what it is? That's a very Japanese response.
Well, we got to look like we're doing something.
Well, no, it was like, so we didn't specifically ban homemade guns. We may have generally banned guns, and there are, guns aren't totally banned in Japan. There are like 2 gun shops. And if you get on like the list or whatever, I know there is then a list of guns that you can buy that year. And you have to select from them.
Mm-hmm.
And the M1A used to be on it, but is not anymore.
Oh.
No, I mean, they were saved from that. Terrible gun, bad gun. But that's just a very Japanese response, because they're probably thinking, no. It's not that. It's that we were not specific enough, so we need to now gently.
Right. He clearly thought that this was okay.
Yeah, he thought it was okay. It's like, it's not the prime minister part here. It's not the problem here. It's not the shooting the guy thing. Mm-hmm. It's he made a gun, and if he hadn't made the gun, he couldn't have shot the guy.
Wasn't he mad at him for like a cult that ruined his mom or something?
I don't know. I don't care about that.
Oh, okay. No.
I mean, do you? If you know about that, tell me.
I shouldn't say cult. I believe it was a religion, but I can't remember now. I can't remember this. His mom was involved in some religion that Shinzo Abe was friendly towards, and his mother like gave all of her money and ruined the family donating to this religion.
Oh,
and I can't remember which one it was now. I don't even think it was a Japanese religion, but now it's too far gone.
Oh, that's really
why
interesting.
that's why he's mad.
That's why he was mad.
Yeah, because Abe promoted indirectly promoted a religion. Apparently,
by just like being polite to them.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was a foreign religion because he couldn't go get them. Like, in other words, he couldn't find. Abe was the biggest connection he could make in Japan.
Yeah, he couldn't buy Arduinos wherever they were.
Right. I mean, I don't know. It's a very insular country. You might not be big on travel. I don't
know. They feel weird about that. I love the way the Japanese refer to everything else as overseas.
Right.
Where it's like in terms of like Japan versus seas, it's like, no, you guys are overseas.
No, they don't. No. There's us, and then there's everything else. It's a very weird social concept too, to especially from like Americans being sort of the antithesis of that.
Right. Open the country.
I mean, easily half of America thinks like just leave it wide open, and so like it's a different concept entirely. And I don't even mean like border control. It's just a strict mentality of like in Japanese culture you always know how many degrees separated you are from the thing you're interacting with, and you're always cognizant of it. I don't know how to explain it better than that. It's very esoteric, but
yeah. Well, so Japan's weird. Moving on.
I'm sorry, but like how he like almost ducked and then was like, "No, I'm not gonna duck," and then number 2 got him, and you're like, "Should have ducked."
It was
like,
interesting. Yeah, number 1 was like a poof.
Can I just point out, guys? I don't care if you look stupid, duck. Just look stupid and don't
Yeah.
get like yeeted.
Yeah, don't be British. That's the British like World War I officer thing where you're
Like,
not allowed to crouch, so you just get shot.
You look real cool. I get it. You look real cool. Then you're
and
dead.
now you're dead.
Right.
But your men's morale was up because you were standing when you were shot.
Was that Kings of Comedy, the thing where it's just like the minute something kicks off, white guys all stick up like prairie dogs and look around and stand perfectly still, and like all the black dudes like down on the ground and like moving.
I don't like this.
Like, and then everybody's just like, it was just a backfire, and they're just like, whatever, I'm alive. Like,
y'all are stupid.
Yeah. Cool. I look stupid. I didn't get dead.
Yeah, I look stupid here alive like I am. So moving on now. There's this guy. His name is what's his name? He's some kind of dude. Oh yeah, Ryan Bussey, whose name was not weird until 2 years ago.
You stole my joke.
I delivered it a lot.
We literally
shorter.
discussed this before the show. And
Yep.
I was just like, oh, that poor guy had a normal name until the Zoomers came along.
He did. And Bussy. And he worked for Kimber. And like, I mean, I don't understand. And now he's like anti-gun. He like he delivers
for Kimber.
Quotes. Yeah. No, he worked for Kimber. He was probably anti-gun then.
Okay, wait. How long ago did he work for Kimber?
I don't know.
Because you know.
I do?
Yeah. Was he in QC? Because it kind of felt like
wasn't he marketing?
I don't know. It felt like Kimber was anti-gun for a while there.
Oh yeah, he was checking them.
Like he's like the one guy who's just like, I'm gonna teach these gun nuts. Like he's sitting there going, we should use even shittier injected metal.
Yeah,
Remember,
that's too high end.
There's like a 5-year period where like every Kimber 1911 hammer just snaps, like, and everybody gets mad at me. And I'm like, have you seen just piles of? You could Google broken Kimber hammer, and there's pages of images. Like, what do you want?
Yeah, no, Kimbers are bad, and if you own one and enjoy it, it's because you're a dumb idiot. So.
I've been
this
told
post brought to you by Dan Wesson Club.
I've been told they got better by people who spent money on Kimbers.
That's of no interest in
There's completely objective.
Yeah. Anyway, so he now is openly anti-gun, whatever. And he gave some wonderful quotes for this Daily Beast article, which what the fuck is that? Anyway, we have this article from Michael Daly, special correspondent, and it's about, of course,
is this Sig's new battle rifle thing?
Yeah, Sig's new thing in the 277 furry cartridge.
Does that count as an intermediate cartridge? I haven't looked into it much.
It's a longer action, so I would consider it a full bore cartridge.
So does that make this a battle rifle?
I would say it does.
This is going to cause people to fight. I can already tell.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, so the title, Proud Gunmaker Figures Out How to Make Mass Shootings Worse. Okay. And this is because...
Wait, go back.
Okay.
To the picture. I want the picture again. Blood money. This the part where they just stamp blood money on there.
Blood money.
Somebody cooked that up in Photoshop and was like,
So listen, Sig's new MCX spear rifle. It fires bullets with twice the kinetic energy as those of the AR-15. This means double the horrifying force that mangled the victims of the mass shooting in Texas.
Nobody tell them about NATO.
Because isn't 308 like
308 is not even
3 or 4 times?
No, it's not even that. So like it's great because it's just like, okay, you have 223, and then you have like 308 over here, and then this new cartridge is kind of the other way, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of I don't even know. I'm not.
It's a double intermediate. It's an intermediate between intermediate and full bore.
It's the 6.5 Japanese of modern cartridges.
Yeah, it really is.
We keep arguing about this,
right?
So, but then it's just like you look at 308 and everybody's just like, oh. Well, first of all, NATO, right? That's what we're really talking about. 308 is actually pretty decent, but most people, when they think about it, they're thinking about NATO, but they keep saying 308.
Right.
Well, you look at NATO spec, and then you look at like 30-06, and you're like, or
you know, you can juice that sucker up, right?
World War I cartridges like are already kind of smoking NATO. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like NATO's like, the 7.5 French was about as far as we really need to push it, don't you think? Like,
7.5, it is a good cartridge though.
it is a good cartridge, but I'm saying like
It's not spicy.
No one in NATO was willing to take on 30-06. They're like, the Americans are fucking stupid.
They're like, why the shit do you need it to go 3 kilometers?
The Americans roll into Europe in like 19. I can't stop cursing. The Americans roll into Europe in 1917, and they're just like, all right, we brought a 45 caliber handgun with like way more juicy powder than the British 4.55, right? Like the Webley's already big, but the Americans show up like, no, we made it semi-automatic and we made it spicy.
Because the Webley, a lot of people think the Webley, because the Webley's a huge revolver.
Right.
You can watch that bullet sail down range. It's going at like 600 feet a second. And so yeah, we show up with the 1911. We're like same size, and it actually goes.
Yeah,
and the French are like,
literally every other country were like, what is America doing? Except
no, because they're all handguns. All their handguns were 32 ACP,
right,
or equivalent.
When we dropped the 1911, every other country's like, what is wrong with America? Except for Norway and Argentina. Argentina and Norway were like, bro, like,
give me that.
And then it's like, okay, well, at least they showed up with bolt action rifles like everybody else. It's like, we put this in it, boom. And they're just like, you guys are just blowing powder just to blow powder. It's way beyond the envelope of anything you guys can shoot. They're like, it doesn't matter. We did the math wrong on the sights anyway, so our machine guns fall short. We didn't even do the math right on it. Like,
we couldn't even figure it out.
Longest range cartridge you could get for World War I, and we're just like, what are you, a computer? Browning 1970s, we're dropping rounds on our own boys.
just do it more up. It's whatever. That's another really funny thing about military cartridges. Like everyone talks about these legendary firearms, right? They had no idea what the hell they were doing. They were not sighted in a way that any ordinary normal rifle shooting person would be able to use. So it's just all a kind of bullcrap, really. Yeah,
it's great. I swear to God, 30-06 exists because we like became really angry about 7mm Mauser.
No, that's exactly the whole rifle platform. Like we were pissed.
We had
like, we'll show you flat shooting. We'll show you.
Everybody hates me for saying this. The 1903 is actually the 1906 rifle. Like, well, it's technically the 1905 rifle and 1906 cartridge. We had a Springfield 1903 with a 30-03 cartridge.
Yep.
And then we changed the rifle because we hated the rod bayonet in 1905. And then after like a certain number of those, I actually know a guy who managed to spot and owns a 1905 model that is still in the old 30-03. So it looks like a perfectly normal 1903, but it will not chamber 30-06 because they then went, I feel like we could go a little hotter. They just turbocharged it one more time for, realistically, no useful reason.
Oh, I thought that Othais was when they reduced the they increased the bullet weight, right?
The case length. They did the case
length. They made it longer. But wasn't there a thing at some point where they like actually downloaded the cartridge because it was shooting beyond the range or something, or is that FUD lore?
On 30-06 specifically?
Yeah.
I'm not sure now that I'm thinking about it.
I heard you say
I gotta go look at the numbers. Hold on. I'm sure I did in one of my videos, but 30-03 was a 220 grain bullet.
Okay. And then of course Othais was 175.
Right. So that's probably what you're thinking is the bullet weight. But the problem is that's the same as everybody was doing because this is the thing people forget. 1905, 1906, 1907 through basically 1905 to 1909 is the period in which most countries made the jump from round nose to Spitzer.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody would reduce their bullet weight in order to get a faster bullet. And they would make it sharp and give it a boat tail. And then that way you would get this better performance. Before that time, 6.5 was considered a better cartridge in some ways because it had 6.5 doesn't do as well spitzered as other cartridges do. You take like an
Mhm.
8mm, you spitzer it, you get a lot better performance out of it, and you keep a lot of sectional density. The
Yeah.
6.5 was already a compromise on sectional density versus velocity. So you then spitzer that, and yes, it does go faster, but you lose more of that mass. And so that became a debate for some countries. So countries like Italy just never went to spitzer. They just stayed with a round nose until they took on a totally different cartridge.
Well, and the
So
Spanish too.
yeah, yeah.
They were like 7mm is fine the way it is for a long time.
It's a dope cartridge.
I've got a lot of it.
Yeah,
Well,
I know.
anyway, so that has everything to do with the MCX Spear.
Yeah, what happened
actually-
here? We just had a history list.
Actually, in some ways, it does because we have kind of gone back now to, focusing on sectional density, which will make people.
It's almost like we're having the same freaking argument all over again.
Right. But so this Bussy boy, the thing he points out about the 277 Furry, right, which is the new 6.5 cartridge, it'll shoot through almost all of the bulletproof vests that are worn by law enforcement in the country right now, which is actually true because they almost all wear soft armor that can't stop anything anyway.
I don't. What is
this is a weapon? Listen. This is a weapon that could defeat any body armor, any planned body armor that we know of in the future.
What?
This is a weapon
what
that can go out at ranges that are unknown today.
What
this thing that's in between 308 and 556.
Okay, you know what? Maybe our entire insane rant before this was fitting because I think we really set the stage for how stupid this man is.
It's how dipshit insane this is. No, it was fitting because we're like, let's talk about rationally why you would do this. And then it's like, our Chief of Staff General Mark Milley told the Army Times in 2019, this is a weapon that can go out at ranges that are unknown today. Miley had in mind the body armor worn by Russian and Chinese troops. The Army just shrugged when asked this week whether the same could apply to that worn by cops. Please refer your question to Sig Sauer and civilian law enforcement agencies, a spokesperson for the Army Modernization Team told the Daily Beast. This country's police unions are either unaware of the potential threat or blinded by politics. So it's a good thing we got Mr. Michael Daly of the Daily Beast to warn us that 277 Furry is going to just really make a big mess.
Yep. We should probably never adopt it.
Things that are also true.
Yeah, like what is going on?
And we also never really will, let's be honest.
I mean,
like,
yeah.
We went from, how quickly did the Army go from everyone's getting one of these to every squad will get one?
Oh, yeah. This is going to be the 40 Smith & Wesson of our time.
But Sig's going to make a ton of money on it.
You don't understand. It's brilliant on paper. We got paid a lot of money.
I hate it. I just decided I hate it.
Did you?
The MCX Scar Spear.
Why do you hate it? Just the look of it?
I hate the way it looks, and I'm angry at how not innovative it is for how much attention it's getting.
Mm.
And
welcome, Boomer. This is how it begins. This is your slow descent into adulthood. Oh. No, you don't understand. Ours was just as good. It's not really doing anything. It was just fine the way it was. I mean, if this thing got general adoption, you would have to hear, when you were 60, you'd be hearing everybody talk about how it was clearly superior to the R15 or whatever bullshit.
No, it's clearly stupid as shit. It's like I think that 545 is the best military cartridge right now for general adoption.
Oh,
and it's because it has less muzzle energy than the 556.
Right.
And you know why I think that's the best cartridge?
Why?
Because the government cannot train anyone to use a gun worth a damn. They're not going to care. Who cares? Give them the easiest one that's the cheapest to do. That's the 545. It's the best.
Yeah, but they're playing the game. So I guarantee you what's happening is they're playing this game of, can we do cross-platform? Because we see this all the time. We see the submachine gun and a battle rifle blend, right?
Right.
We get both in one, And then now what this is going to be is, okay, when we did the AR-15, we kind of went for like infantry rifle and submachine gun combined, right? That was our thing that we were on, and we gave up DMR, right? Now it's like, okay, but can we get DMR in there? Like, that's all they're doing. I get it. We went and played in the desert for so friggin' long that we were just like, NATO's not a bad guy. Like, you get out there and it's like,
hey, we found these M14s.
Like, America's just like, you don't understand, in modern warfare, you don't need to shoot long and flat. Like, every infantryman's not going to be making like 700 yard shots and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, y'all know deserts are flat. And they keep hiding behind stuff.
Yeah.
We really need to be able to penetrate that.
And they're over there.
So what do? Well, we'll put a stock on it. Like, we're gonna torture the M14 into being a straight shooting rifle. Because,
allegedly.
Yeah. That's the corner we ended up in. We ended up in a position where we're putting plastic stocks on M14s and saying it's okay.
Well, and calling up Remington and being like, you got any more 700s?
Yeah,
please?
Please. Some of them are far away. The next thing you know, we have 30-06 again.
Yeah. It'll be like...
Just bring it back. Bring it back. By the way, I figured out.
Well, somebody's got to do something with all those M1Cs that are sitting at the CMP that no one will buy.
Oh, it bothered me so much on the fly on the 30-06. I had to double check my notes, and I remembered why you're confused.
Okay.
It was the 30-06 was a shorter case for the. It's a cooler burning shorter case because they went with the lighter bullet.
Mm-hmm.
But that bullet is spicier, like in the sense that it's going faster and flatter.
Right.
So we were like, we made this monster, and then we're like, oh, it's eroding our barrels and setting everything on fire. We should probably figure out. Oh, Spitzer. Oh, that solved it. Thank crap.
Yeah.
And then you could technically shoot the Auth6s and the Auth3s, but like you get some issues there.
Not recommended. It's gonna fire for him every time. All right, cool. Then last up, we have one more thingus. This sucks. This really ticks me off. There's a YouTube video that was out there. ATF agents show up, no warrant, at this Delaware man's home.
Is this the one with the robot voice? Because that was fun.
Yes. What's the reason? Let me ask you, person who definitely hasn't already read the story and isn't the very person who sent me this.
Why
link.
would the ATF show up at my house?
Why would they show up there?
Things that I write on the internet or say on this show?
Is it because my friends finally told on me?
Yeah.
All those pretty girls with that funny pink and blue flag.
All right, they're gonna. If they come inside, don't look at those particular floorboards. Just don't even make eye contact with any of the hidey holes. They'll watch your eyes.
Yeah, they do. They do watch your eyes. So
what heinous crime did he commit or maybe commit? Matt?
He bought. Listen, it's a problem. It's a sensitive matter. He bought 2 handguns at the same time.
Two. How could he? What human being could manage to use 2 handguns at the same time?
Right, you only got 2 hands. What the hell are you gonna do with 2? What are you gonna do with 2 guns?
How is that even possible?
And listen, everybody knows that the definition of a handgun is it's got to be designed to shoot with one hand.
Right.
How are you gonna do it?
Right.
Anyway, so it's obviously
it literally doesn't make any sense. They should investigate.
They should. They should go straight to his house.
The AI told them.
Yeah, it was like, this guy's committing.
This guy's
suicide.
gonna double kill himself.
He got 2 revolvers and he's old.
This guy's gonna make like somebody who has information on Hillary Clinton and shoot himself twice.
So they showed up, demanded to see his 2 guns. They're like, and like the whole time they're like,
they were very polite in their threatening.
Oh yeah, they were like, look, we don't want to have to come back here.
Yeah, we don't have to
come back.
That's not, by the way, that's not an implied threat. We're just being very courteous by saying we don't want to have to come back here with a warrant.
Yeah, and a dog and some kind of Iron Maiden.
It's like they made the excuse that it was like going to be, you bought multiple firearms, so we thought you were straw purchasing.
Yeah, and we just got to make sure you still got them. So if you got them, I want to see them. I'll check them off, and that's it.
Two handguns.
2 handguns.
Do you know how many straw purchases there are in, like, we got a buddy that's a pawnbroker.
Right.
And the number of attempted straw purchases he has that they never prosecute. Ever. They don't, like, they could just, like, he could just have a notebook with, like, he could just snap cell phone pictures all day of people that just tried straw purchases. And he's, early days, try to tell the ATF, don't care.
Mm-hmm.
No response. You can't even report the dang things. But this guy bought 2 handguns.
2 handguns.
So better get him.
You've done multiple sales forms, right?
Yeah, I hate them.
Yeah. Do you have a record?
I will leave crap there. Like, 'cause my buddy is my freaking dealer.
Yeah.
So I'll just be like, I'm just gonna get this one this week. I don't want you to have to do the thing. And he's like, I don't want to do it either. Like, I'll just see you next week. I'm like, okay. It's like we're already planning on having dinner that night. Anyway. Like, just I'll see you next week. It's fine. I
can't afford the fee for the other one.
There's also that reject thing where you're just like, okay, I've got my new gun and I'm very happy with it. If I leave this one here for a week, next week I'll have.
I can be happy too.
Right. Yeah. Today I'll just ruin it in one night. I'll be like, oh boy, 2 guns. Oh boy.
Yeah. No, I've done the where I've ordered a bunch when I was out of town, and then I come back and they're all there, and I'm like, I had that thought. I was like, do I get one at a time, or do I go home and be really happy for 1 hour?
Right, that's the problem. Because the juice wears off, man.
It does. It's so bad. But it does, like, amplify. So when you get all those guns, like your 50 guns that you got all at once, that's an awesome hour. And then you're like, oh.
I don't know if it's me.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm too
well, the problem is you do pick your favorite though when you get them all.
Yeah, oh yeah, because too much.
Because you drag one to the desk with you.
You also end up with really unfair comparisons where it's just like, just because they showed up at the same time, you compare them and you're like, these are 2 centuries apart.
Yeah, this one sucks.
What the hell were we talking about, Matt? We suck at
we were talking about this ATF guy showing up at the thing. Oh, by the way, if they do this to you, you don't have to talk to them. Never talk to the cops.
Yeah, why would you? Okay, so that's this craziest thing is it's like if they show up, it's a valuable threat though to just be like, look, if I see them right now, I just go away. But if you don't,
because people are thinking, I don't want to deal with them. Right. They're thinking, I don't want them to get a warrant. I don't want them to come inside.
Yeah, I don't want anybody serving a warrant in my house.
But see, here's the thing: is you need probable cause to get a warrant.
But that's the thing so this is the problem though. This is the thing the ATF guy will never tell you.
Right.
If they go get a warrant on you and there's no actual probable cause, you have a lawsuit lined up. You can't really get nailed for anything because they were there under false pretenses, whatever the case, right?
Yeah, fruit of the poisonous tree.
That's to you, that's a bother if they manage to pull it off, because God knows a lot of judges will just sign off on anything. But you are trusting someone who is paid to practically lie to you.
Right.
Like,
not practically, literally. The Supreme Court said they can do it.
No, that they can, but that's not necessarily like they're legally allowed to lie to you in the performance of their job.
Right.
They will. Like there's
and they enjoy it.
There's no punishment to him if he lies to you. And as a matter of fact, with the ATF, if they go through the whole court case, like if you get dragged into a corner and beaten by them and then you prove your way out of it, Matt, you're doing a case right now. Any of the ATF agents involved ever going to be punished if you manage to free your client? You think they're going to get in trouble? Like,
at some point, they're being a Christian, I feel at some point they'll have to answer.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the guy that shows up at the door and knocks first, right? The first guy to show up and knock. He's not going to, the guy processing the papers, the guy that's doing his job, quote unquote.
No, and especially because they're like, I'm just following orders.
Yeah, the minute somebody says, I'm just following orders, I'm just like, well, now I hate you. Like, that's not what this is supposed to be about at all, actually. You can't say, yeah, we just got to do this, and then pretend.
But to answer your question, no, there is no recourse. But like, they have to, and the standards of qualified immunity makes this completely impossible. You have to prove that it's clearly established that everything that the officer did in the course of their duty was in violation of your rights, and clearly established means that another officer acted in a similarly egregious way before, and it was appealed sufficiently for there to be binding case law. So basically, you're fucked.
Yeah, give them nothing. Like,
Yeah.
sorry. I just be like, look, I apologize, but
I'd be like, hey man, go away. I'm a lawyer. Also, I want my lawyer.
yeah,
I
that's
can't
the big
afford
one.
another me.
That'd
Go
be the
get me
big one.
one.
Is it's like, well, I'll tell you what. If you guys want to come back, give me your number. I will get in touch with my attorney, and I will see what he says on this matter, and we will do it in his presence if it's necessary.
Mm-hmm. Or you just give him his email. Like, don't talk to me. Talk to him.
Well, you might not have an attorney. Well, a lot of people don't retain attorneys.
Everyone should. Just kidding. I was just kidding. That's it.
But like,
everyone should own an attorney because they shouldn't be treated.
Yeah, but
as
even if you
people.
don't have one on call, the answer can be like, "Hey, I'm going to get with my attorney to find out what I need to be doing here, and then we will speak with like,
Yeah, give me
I
a
will
card.
speak. I will speak through my attorney. Like that
Right.
is the answer to any government agency showing up. Is to be like, yeah, I'm going to speak through my attorney.
Yeah. Am I in custody? And it's like a meme, but it's because the Supreme Court has said these words are magic. Am I in custody? If the answer is no, okay, bye. If the answer is yes, cool, I want my lawyer.
Right.
Like that's it. That's it. If you say, and this is what I always tell people, it's like cops speak it's a language that's different. It sounds a lot like English, but the problem is if you respond to their questions in English, you wind up just the only thing that you are capable of saying is "please punish me," in their language.
Right. It's like those caterpillars where their butt looks like their head. Just because it looks like it doesn't mean it is.
Right. Yeah. It's not English.
Yeah, you're thinking you're having a very nice conversation, but you're about to get shit on.
Yeah. No, yeah. In reality, you're just saying, hurt me, hurt me, hurt me. Right? And he's going, are you? All right. Okay.
A police version of like the mini skirt. Well, he was asking for it.
Yeah. He kept saying,
talking to me.
Yeah. In our language, the only way to communicate not wanting to be fisted is calling a lawyer. Right?
It's like they suddenly can understand you whenever you speak through a lawyer.
Lawyers speak the funny language. And you'll notice your lawyer will keep saying, I don't want to answer that. You don't have a right to that information. I don't know.
Oh my God.
PatriotPatch.com.
Oh, is that we're doing commercial now?
Yeah, this looks they sent me the new Patch of the Month edition.
It's blurrier now. It's not helping at all. Worse. What is it? It's a Molotov cocktail?
No, silly. That's the Freedom Beer. Look.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Patch of the Month Club.
Nothing bad could happen. Are Molotovs regulated?
Yes.
So I heard there was a woman who poured a bunch of gasoline into bottles and shoved tampons in there and was like, these make great Molotovs, and posted it to social media. And I'm like, isn't that an NFA violation?
Did she really do that?
Yes, this really happened.
That's awesome.
But people are like, that's illegal. Like
you're not supposed to.
You literally just constructed a thing.
Patriots. But yeah, this patch is Patriots Brew 100% freedom by volume. It is the July patch of the month. Revolutionary taste. Kind of
go on.
Revolutionary.
He hangs out with Rekieta once.
Oh, I didn't mean to say it that way. But anyway, they got other things. 50% off deals triggered at checkout. Half off sale. Select PVC and leather patches, stickers, cleaning mats, and more. And everybody knows, you guys always know, you go to patriotpatch.com, you use the coupon code TWIG10, you're going to get a hookup exclusively from me.
Scroll down. Scroll down.
Okay.
Oh, you can get your own shop's logo. They do custom work too.
All right, yeah, let's upload some. Minimum of 50, starting at 270 required.
That'd be fun for like a bachelor party, though.
Yeah, we should get some kind of like.
What kind of cleaning mats? Show me the cleaning mats.
The cleaning mats are kind of slick. They sent me one. They sent me the AK one.
My mat's dirty. I need to clean
it. I clean all of my mats over this one. It's got the 4 rules on it.
Oh.
But it's actually like kind of like clever.
Yeah, because there's like half of a sheep behind there.
Well, that's a cow, stupid. I'm sure your target was behind of it. Never point a gun at anything you're not willing to destroy. It's a chihuahua.
First of all, everybody's willing to destroy the chihuahua.
Well, that's the one thing. That's
why he's pointing it there.
No, hold on. The one thing that they determined was insane enough to hold a cop liable for and get away from qualified immunity without a case, without finding a case where the exact same thing happened, was when a cop just shot a dude's chihuahua unprovoked.
It's a chihuahua. It was provoking.
It was actually one of the only well-behaved chihuahuas in the world. It was off on the side, and the cops were like,
well, then that's the problem. He's like, what's wrong with that chihuahua? It's a ghost.
well, no, he was. This was all over the television. The cop's like, "Is that your dog?" He's like, "No, it's not my dog. I'm gonna shoot your dog if you don't answer me." And he's like, "Dude, that's not my dog." And then the cop just casually shoots the chihuahua
for being there.
What?
For just being there?
He was clearly on some kind of intense power trip, but
okay.
That cop was not afforded qualified immunity. So, like, that's how insane you have to be behaving to not.
So anyway, Patriot Patch
Company.com. And the other cool thing about this map, the other cool thing about this map is that treat every firearm as if it were loaded. Do you know what gun that is?
I can't see. It's too small.
Here, hold on.
Is that Smith & Wesson? What is that? I can't see. No, it's really small on my screen. I'm sorry. I'm on the Streamlabs thing.
Okay, whatever. It's a Star Firestar, which is a
wait. What really?
Yeah,
I got into an argument at a pawn shop over one of those.
Over a Firestar?
Yeah.
Oh, there, it's a little bigger. What kind of argument did you get into then?
Henry, our homie.
Yes.
Yeah. So Henry's like an awkward Zoomer kid.
Yeah, who's fixated with Spanish and Yugoslavian guns, which is the most upsetting combination. And is he Spanish or Yugoslavian?
He's also like, I'm pretty sure he can't communicate with words. He can only communicate with memes that he steals from other places. But
and intense eye contact and eyebrows.
Yeah, it's weird amount of eye contact. But anyway, I was at a pawn shop with Henry.
We love him.
And he's like, I need a concealed carry. And this, I was just like, yeah, you do. And he's like, yeah. So we're looking around, and there's reasonable concealed carry options that he could purchase, right? And he's like, ooh, a Firestar. And I was just like, Henry, do not buy the Firestar. He's just like, but Spanish. And the guy that's behind the counter is like, aha, sucker. The Zoomer is locked in, right?
Yeah.
So he fixates on this Firestar thing. And I was just like, Henry, the Firestar is not a good concealed carry. And he just goes,
it's not a good gun.
Right. And the guy behind the counter is like, yeah, it is. And starts unironically arguing in favor of carrying a Firestar, and starts on this rant about some boomer that comes by that's former Spanish special forces that used
that
fires.
exists.
Yeah, just made up like this guy's a master marksman. He did all of it with a subcompact Firestar. It's like,
oh yeah, the one that the Spanish military never used.
Right, exactly. That's my. I'm literally telling him, I'm just like, that's not true. And he's just like, how do you know? I was like, because the
Firestar was made exclusively for the civilian market.
Not only that, I'm an arms historian and blah blah blah. And I was like, it's not a good gun for concealed carry. And he's just like, whatever's going to be better. I was just like, literally lots of things that are roughly close to this price, or he could save his money and do better. And he's just like,
and aren't made of solid steel.
I became this weird argument where it's just like, I understand, I could believe there's a Spanish man that's run a lot of rounds through a Firestar. That's fine.
Right.
I don't think he's competing Olympically with it or whatever garbage that guy was spouting. He was just making crap up,
Because he wanted to offload this thing?
Right, because I'm just he's like, finally, somebody looked at the stupid Firestar that we're charging too much money. So, I just kept standing there, and he was getting more red and angry as I was just like, yeah, I don't think it's a very good idea. I was like, oh, so you've just tried hundreds of guns then? And I was just like, yeah, easily. I have easily shot over 1,000 firearms from 2 centuries. That is not even a joke. Because he didn't know. I'm not trying to be Mr. Big D, but
right.
It's literally my job, and I get handed crap all the time. I've shot so many stupid guns, right? And by the way, has no bearing on whether this is good or not. I could have shot 5, and as long as 4 of them were better than this, it's still the worst one I've shot.
Right.
So it's just I was like, please stop trying to sell the Zoomer a terrible concealed carry choice. He really wants to bank his life on this. You know what I mean? But so this guy's getting more and more ready. He's like, blah, 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 blah. He's like, you just fired all these guns then, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I literally have. It's kind of my job. And it was just like, oh, blah. And he starts to yell something else, and May's standing there, and May just turns, and she just looks him right in the eye, and she just goes, dude, why are you, she says it loud enough, for everyone else to hear, just loudly from I mean, she's not standing 2 feet away, she's standing 8 feet away, and she just turns and she just looks at this guy and yells across the room, she's like, dude, why are you being an asshole? And the entire shop stops to look at this pink-faced dude holding a Firestar yelling at me. And then now he's really mad. And I was just And May just goes, I think we should leave. These guys are nuts. And then we all just leave. And the worst part is we're there like 7 people. So like half the store leaves because we had all shown up together.
Right. Oh
It
my
was just
god.
such a weird event where I'm just like, how did we end up in a fight? I'm not even yelling. I'm just like, why am I in a fight about a fire star? But now you can have a gun mat with a fire star on it. So
Yeah, I own it. I own it. They sent it to me. I owned a fire star, and I shot it, and I was like, that
And
functions.
then you sobered up, and then
I shot it. I was like, that functions, and then off it went.
you're like, my hand hurts.
It's just way too heavy.
Yeah. No,
way
it's
too heavy. The
That's
trigger
the
is
thing people don't
terrible.
understand. They're really heavy guns.
Yeah.
For what they are. Like, it's like size-wise, yeah, I guess you can conceal it, although they're a little thick for that too.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Why would made of Spanish steel? Like
just,
what Spanish steel lacks in quality, they make up for in quantity.
he could have sold it to him as a collectible, and he probably would have bought it.
Right.
But
No,
he's like,
yeah, you don't see one of
he'd
those
have been
every
like-
day.
He literally could have sold the gun by being like, dude, it's cheap and it's a piece of crap and everybody laughs at it. It's hilarious. And like Henry would have been like, dope. I love stupid things.
Yeah.
But he had to like try to make it into a good gun. It was just like, what is going on?
You could carry that. You could carry that anywhere. I would carry that straight home. I would carry that to your house.
That's why we lost Nam. We didn't have enough fire stars.
If only we had maintained our relationship with the Spanish crown, we could have prevailed.
This episode sucks. We should stop.
Yeah, there's just all right, everybody. See you next time.
I want the Sean Heron music.
I'm gonna put my own.
Okay.